On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Charlie Kirk, I believe, was buried, today, Sunday. Today's 14th. We've got one, obviously, thumbnail's way too busy. I don't know. Hindsight's one of those things. I was trying to do too much, but it's what it is. We've got a lot that's going on. And if you're here and you're from the left by chance, and just before I overly piss you off, I don't know, some of you guys maybe just like to hang out and just be angry, right? Like, that's okay. Again, I welcome everybody, but for those that might be here for a brief moment, Kirk's murder suspect was deeply indoctrinated with the left ideology. Now, the left, one of the things that my point is, I guess, is the left doesn't really stand for anything. You stand against. Right now, anyways, it seems. You stand against stuff. You don't really stand for anything. You don't stand for rights of any kind. You don't stand for any sort of general rule that works for everybody. You don't stand for anything. You stand against every attempt by everybody else to try to live in kumbaya without you telling me how I can live, what I'm supposed to believe, and all that stuff. But again, I think it's my nickel's worth of free advice to the left. I'm not trying to be a dick, but nickel's worth of free advice. Y'all need to figure out how to stand for something. Because right now we're throwing you up against the ropes because all we've got to do is stand for something and you stand against it. And you guys are standing against some of the craziest stuff. You're standing against borders. You're standing against actual equality. You want to give special privileges to certain people that aren't even citizens. And you're fighting for that. You guys fight for abortion, I guess. If that's something you stand for, maybe. But that's a tough one. That's a tough hill to stand on. I'm actually curious. What's a good example of something that you all stand for, at least anymore? I know the Democrat Party of years gone used to stand for stuff, I think. But I think we all know that's hogwash, at least for the rest of my audience. Now, if you're looking for some examples of what it's like to stand for something, I've got some of those. This is a beautiful post by the White House. In America, we take blows but never buckle. We bleed but do not bow. And we defy the fear, endure the flames, and emerge from the crucible of every hardship, stronger, prouder, and greater than ever before. That's what we stand for. Now, that may seem a little arbitrary to some. Sure, I get that. Maybe got a better example here. I want you to watch this 3-minute video because this is what we stand for.
Joel's known Clyde for 15 years, but his humble neighbor had never revealed his heroic past.
Oh, man! What do you think? I love it.
After quitting his corporate job, Joel was working in his yard one day when his neighbor approached.
Clyde came up to me and said, I would love a small deck, just enough to grill on and just get away from the chaos of the house and get a breath.
That's when Joel decided to pay it forward.
And I thought, you know what? I'm going to build him a little deck just for Father's Day. He's a great neighbor.
I just talked to the park manager about that mess you got on the side there. Yes, yeah. Yeah. She said it's okay if I build a deck for you. Yeah. Yeah. You want a place to grill and stuff, right?
Right, heck yeah.
Well, is it okay with you? You just gotta move some of that clutter out of the way and I'll start. It'll be done by tonight.
I don't have the wood.
It's all in the back of my truck. No, I'm not.
Get back here. I got a ball. Yeah, I'm getting something. Not you. Yeah.
It's a Father's Day gift. No hurry. Yeah. And I'll get started. That's okay with you? All right. Here's the spot. Let's go.
It was during this project Joel learned Clyde's humble secret. He was an Army paratrooper left with chronic back and knee pain from his service.
I had no idea, even after knowing him for 15 years, that he served in the military. He had mentioned that he couldn't build the deck himself because his knees and his back were just always in chronic pain. I started building the deck, and he came out and said, yeah, he had done too many jumps when he was younger. And I said, jumps? And he said, yeah, I was a paratrooper in the military, and it took its toll on me.
Knowing this, Joel poured even more heart into the deck, even adding special features to aid his knees.
He's good. My man.
What do you think?
I love it. What are you talking about? What do I think? I love this. I am. Right now, I told her she couldn't. I have to. Oh,
I even made the stack short so it doesn't hurt your knees. What do you think?
What do you mean? What do I think? Thank you.
You look way taller than me.
I'm tall. I'm standing on top of the world right now.
And right then and there, it's a feeling I rarely get. And after it was all said and done, how he said he was standing on top of the world, that moment right there made me feel better than every paycheck I've ever made in my life. That was the payoff for me. But seeing the joy and the happiness, it was incredible.
And just in case you needed one more example, not as long, but very good. Pilot showed on the flight tracker radar that they literally did a flight that showed this particular
Pilot
route.
paid his own tribute to Kirk this morning. Around 6:30 a.m., a flight tracking software shows the pilot flew in this pattern near Phoenix, creating a cross with a C and a K. They landed about an hour after taking off.
Yeah, that's pretty freaking cool. So that's kind of examples of what we would do, just to say, because I know for some it's difficult. Now, Trump is going to award Charlie Kirk a Presidential Medal of Freedom, and obviously posthumously, but still nonetheless.
Let me express the horror and grief so many Americans at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk have felt. Charlie was a giant of his generation, a champion of liberty, and an inspiration to millions and millions of people. Our prayers are with his wonderful wife, Eric, and his beautiful children. Fantastic people they are. We miss him greatly, yet I have no doubt that Charlie's voice and the courage he put into the hearts of countless people, especially young people, will live on. I'm pleased to announce that I will soon be awarding Charlie.
What's amazing about this also is that, one, this movement. Two, Trump's, there's discussion. I think I've got a story somewhere, someone close to him actually sharing that this has been very hard on him in particular. We feel like an important part of our crusade, if you will, has been hurt, and it has. But again, one of the things, we don't break. We don't bow. There's always a reason to rise up. There should be, in all honesty, 50 people that were inspired enough to actually make a difference from Charlie's passing. And I would say of those 50, there's probably 2, maybe 3, that might rise to the level of Charlie. This created a separate energy spike, if you will, a separate kick in the pants, like the comet. We're going to talk about the comet, or 3i Atlas, whatever the hell it is, right? But it's emitting a new color now, by the way. We'll talk about it later, but kind of the same thing. We're emitting a new color right now. And even from the Law 1 stuff, for those, a few of you guys that actually follow that stuff too that I do, again, the coloring of us is changing. This is hugely successful. It's horrible, the sacrifices that happen. But some of the greatest growth that you as a person, admit it. Like I know in my personal life, some of the biggest lessons in my life have been painful. Nothing has come easy to me. This is a painful moment for our country, and certainly his family, but our country, which is much larger than that, frankly. I can't even imagine. You know, someone being like, oh, you know, like your life mattered that much, like a whole country's in mourning. Flags are at half staff because of you. That's, wow. Tommy Robinson, let's say it correctly, mate. I don't think they don't say that a lot, but whatever. Unite the Kingdom rallies tracked massive amounts of people. They're like, oh, there's like 110,000 people. But I think they're counting in metric or something weird because there looks like, I don't know, a couple few million is what it looks like to me. So they're probably using that metric system when they count, you know? You know, one person here in the United States would be said like that's one, but in England they're like, no, that's 0.1 or something. I don't know. I don't know what the shit. Obviously you can't count. That's way the shit more than 100,000 people. Hello, as you might say. So, you know, there's that. You know, the rest of the world's getting pretty awokened. And the deep state is going down. We are playing a part. We are the reason. It's fun to be a part of, I guess. But at the same time, it's been like last week was a really tough week. Curious to see where we go this week. We're not going to get over this anytime soon, and we'll never forget. And it will be odd that September 10th, the day before September 11th, will remain in forever, you know? And, you know, what's funny is I did a calculation on it. It was like 8,900 and some odd days. I could pull it up again, but when I broke down the numbers, it rounded down to 27 or 9. The number of days between September 11th, 2001, you can do the calculation. Did you just type it in? What's the number of days between September 11th, 2001 and September 10th, 2025? And it's like, I don't know, 8,274 or whatever. There's 278. I don't know, whatever the number was. I forget what exactly it was. And when I rounded that down, it was 27 or /9. Like completion. It completed something, I think, that happened in our country, that was allowed to happen in our country. Some people get pretty pissy about the 9/11 stuff, but again, we were attacked in such a deep way, in such a painful way. And the attack that happened on Charlie Kirk was no less, it's not like it's like an attack, if you will, but what it did to break us away from the Patriot Act, or we'll soon see. But what Charlie Kirk's passing did was, I think, breaking us free from the shackles of what happened in 9/11. He's going to represent a large thing and a movement from the youth, which is going to be enormous. We need it, right? State legislature. They approved Trump-endorsed GOP redistricting plan, so he's going to continue to push redistricting stuff. All right, California. Who else is going to redistrict? You guys have already gerrymandered the shit out of your stuff. So who else? Who else out there is going to cry? Oh, we're going to do it too. All right, go for it. We got a whole bunch of states we're going to do this on. You guys are going to be bummed. Democrats are never going to win an election again, ever. Especially because we're going to have actually free and fair elections. You're never going to win again. Perceived importance of college hits a record low. Now, one thing I got to point out everybody about 3i Atlas, and I'm not trying to say it's right, wrong, anything, right? Okay. I just want to say, I just think it's funny, ironic, that the dude that everybody's referring to, the guy that's like, this is what it's doing, and there's got to be about 10,000 people in there because of how much CO2 is being outgassed, is like, all right, this dude's from Harvard, just saying, happens to be a Harvard physicist. Oh, but that's different, Dan. He's a physicist. Okay. I mean, Harvard's not only like the total number one institution that Trump is at friggin' war with right now. So I think it's kind of funny that that's all happening. Gallup poll is showing that the percentage of Americans saying college is very important has fallen to 35%. Quickly. In fact, 2010, it was up at 80, almost 75%. 75% of people were like, college is important. Dude, my girlfriend, man, whew. Boy, this is just, she knows my answer. She knows where I'm at. We don't fight about it or anything crazy, but it's just, she's very like, believes you're not, like, she believes school makes you smart. It's actually it's kind of funny because there's a lot of people that believe that school makes you smart. Smart's a thing you are or aren't. It's not a thing that school does. In fact, school in most cases doesn't help people think critically, which I think is a big part of. If you're intelligent, that's one of the things you need to learn how to do. That and a logic class. That, man, I hated that class, but it was probably one of the most useful classes I ever took. Intro to Logic, I think is what it was called. Anyway, it was a transferable humanities class I remember taking, and oh my God, it's like if A is true, if A equals whatever, and anyway, there's so many different just versions of logic, and it's like it's critical thinking. I think that was actually the point of the class. They actually taught critical thinking when I was younger. I know. What? Who thought it? It was a shit class, and the dude that taught it was he's a nightmare. But I think I got an A in it, if I remember correctly. Not everything did I get an A in, but most everything I got an A in. Who cares? Oh, healthy home. That's an A. You want to get an A in your life? You want to get an A in your health? This is where you're going to do it. A for Apple Jacks. Remember that? A for Apple? Those aren't healthy for you at all, by the way. They'll kill you quicker than anything, but Apple Jacks were oddly delicious when I was young and ate cereal and milk. I mean, and it's not that I hate that stuff. It's just, cereal's not good for you. I don't really care about milk. I just don't buy it. I use it to cook. I mean, I'm not against it. I'm a friend of milk. But all said, get back on track here for a second. DanRadioStyle.healthyhome.com. Healthy Home. Love these guys. Heal thy home. DanRadioStyle.healthyhome.com. They got like 5-6 products, and they're incredible. Stem cells. As you age, your stem cells that you create in your own body start to diminish. Stem cells are the cells that can actually heal. They become other cells. They're your healing cells. They're the cells that are actually going to fix your damaged parts of your body. Stem Active doesn't put stem cells in you because that's usually like from fetal cells and stuff. It's kind of gross, but there's, for injuries and stuff, it's miraculous, in fact. But raising your own stem cell count inside your body, that's what this does. It helps you with some plant-based, healthy ingredients that cause your body 25 to 40% push up in the number of stem cells you're creating. It helps you fight against aging. It helps you fight against antioxidants, right? They always say antioxidants because they're against the oxidants, right? They're antioxidants. They're, that's just how they are. If you're an oxidant, you're not a fan. They're not fans. No, they hate you. Oxidants are what age. That's why they're anti. They try to get the oxidizer things out, the things that will actually age you out. This actually helps replace the cells that have been damaged or killed. That's what Stem Active does. It gives you that stronger leg up on healing. There's also a version for pets, by the way, right? And it's like half the price, okay? I'm just going to bring it up because I don't want to have to bring it up again. I feel like it's better they should just stick them right next to each other. But balance is, for ladies going through the change, it happens. You don't need to tell me about it. It's cool. I didn't say anything, but this isn't putting any synthetic hormones inside of you. This is plant-based. Once again, it's your body dealing with this and having some assistance from healthy things. It's a transdermal lotion. You put a little bit on your wrist, and you rub your wrists together, and then boom, that's it. You're done. That's it. And you are going to feel better. People are noticing they're sleeping better. They're just their moods are staying a little more calm. Their temperatures are staying a little more calm. They're not an instant furnace and then immediately freezing, right? Like there's balance, again, being restored to your life. Again, no synthetic hormones. You don't want to do that. It's bad for you. This doesn't do that. It helps you through your body naturally, and it works. I've actually gotten awesome feedback from this one. And the husband even was like, dude, and he gave me a wink. Like he didn't, he was smart. Let's just put it that way. Years of marriage right there is what that was. Amaze collagen peptides. Best way to get any sort of thing into your body is a peptide. It's just the way they molecularly bond them, and it makes it really friendly to your body. I don't know. Don't want to waste too much time trying to understand what it actually means. But I know what it does. Right? It's like Pantene Pro V. Anyway. The collagen peptide. Collagen is the most important protein in your body. This is the best way to bring it into your body. It's a liquid. It's almost immediately absorbed, right? There's no digestion that really has to happen. You got sagging skin, though. You've been losing weight maybe, and your skin's just not catching up. This helps with that collagen. It's that elasticity in the skin. It's one of the most important proteins in the body. Sore muscles, joint discomfort, lifeless hair, nails, all that stuff. Get your collagen. It's the best way to do it. This stuff's amazing. Trust me. And then Prime, if you want energy, Prime is the way to go. It expands your blood vessels, causes more oxygen to move through. It works within minutes. Stuff's awesome. I love it before I go to the gym. It just gives me more energy. I've just got more energy. I don't like to eat before the gym. A lot of people, I don't know, you're supposed to. Okay? That's what you're supposed to do. Don't do as Dan does, that's for sure. But this helps. It helps me kind of, rather than drinking energy drinks or something weird like that might even have sugar, that's going to get me out of the ketosis I'm in. It doesn't. It keeps me right where I was at, and it just kind of helps get me some more energy. So, again, awesome stuff. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. And I do want to say, for people that have actually joined, if you've joined as an executive member, even a regular member, I kind of want you guys to hit me up if you can. If you can do me one small favor, or at least because there's trees like on the left and the right. I just want to make sure we've chatted. I've got a friend that can really dive deep if you need help. But if you go to danradiostyle.com, also it's been mine for a long time. You can actually contact me there. I'm going to get a lot of stuff from a lot of people. I'll read it when I can. But yeah, and if it's just silly nonsense, I probably won't respond. I don't have enough time in the day, but I want to be able to help the people that are part of the Healthy Home and actually went in and joined and became executive members, because it's kind of cool, and helping you guys kind of become more successful kind of helps the bigger picture. It's a great product. It's a great company, and there's a number of people that are getting excited about it. So again, danradiostyle.com, contact me, and that will go to my email. And hopefully we can chit-chat at some point. So yes, danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Check out the products and then become an executive member and then reach out to me. And I've got an email list of you guys, but it helps if you reach out to me, because then I'm sort of looking to help you. And so anyway, it just might be easier in that regard. I've got somebody that's constantly nudging me. She's like, you should, anyway. And Lori's awesome. I like Lori very much. She's a wonderful lady. She's super wonderful, in fact. Billions in losses. So this is what retail crime has happened. This is what the infamous left is pushing. This is what they stand for. Retail is bearing the brunt, according to an op-ed by Ted Jenkins at Fox News. The National Retail Federation, the NRF, they reported U.S. retailers lost $112 billion in 2022 due to theft, up from $94 billion in 2021. 2019-2023 shoplifting incidents rose 93% and dollar losses climbed 90%. Major chains are pulling back. Target projected $500 million in additional losses this year. Walgreens has shut stores across San Francisco, and Nordstrom's left downtown entirely. I think I went to that mall one time. It was kind of a trippy mall there in San Francisco. It was pretty cool. But it was already still kind of getting nasty. I think it was 2015, 2016. I was there for a Salesforce conference thing. It was kind of fun. Dreamforce, I think they called it, or whatever the hell it was. It's fun, though. Let's see. Yeah, so insane stuff that's going on. Just, again, theft. Elon Musk posted the left is the party of murder. It's unquestionably, right? Yeah. They seem to keep promoting it. And here's another example. MSNBC inciting violence yet again.
And if it was beyond our capacity, sir, then maybe we would call for federal help. But so I don't understand what's different. It wouldn't have anything to do with the fact that Memphis is a largely black municipality, would it?
Yeah. So Memphis is the largest majority black city in the nation. It's something that I wear as a badge of honor, and I think it's something that we should be proud of. I will say that Governor Lee, certainly he can speak for himself, but I will say.
So they're trying to make it a black thing, right? They're trying to make it like Trump's going there because they're all black. But, I mean, again, not sure what they're bragging on at the moment. Not sure at all what they're bragging on. Office Depot, they had a situation where somebody was going in to try to get some Charlie Kirk stuff printed up for, I think, his funeral or whatever. And the person in the store refused to help them. Now, Office Depot fired that individual, and Office Depot even came out with a public statement essentially saying this was a mess up. This was an individual specific one store. They even call it the store number, 3382 in Portage, Michigan. This behavior displayed by our associate is completely unacceptable and insensitive. But again, this is what people on the left feel like they're entitled to do. Here's the difference between George Floyd and Charlie Kirk, you know, at least as far as how we all roll on this side of the fence, even though we're the most violent ones.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
And this is, again, the differences between the sides right now. And again, are we better or worse? It's so very different. The left and the right are very, 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 very different. And I don't know what happens with the people on the left. I think there's a very small percentage of them that are actually violent. And I think a bunch of them are just sheeple. So I feel like we just got to worry about that violent group, maybe to a degree. Either A, get them to show themselves, or B, just acknowledge the fact that they're problematic. And then we'll probably be able to identify them pretty easily. Just their social media posts and stuff like that. These guys, they can't help themselves. They've got to be vocal. They have to tell you how they feel. And if you haven't gotten it yet, then I must elevate. A minute of silence for George Floyd, but not for Charlie Kirk, the EU. They wouldn't do one for Charlie Kirk. They did one for George Floyd. They did. Now, here's some examples. Here's the Polish government, who, by the way, keeps wanting to start World War III, claiming that Russia has attacked something somehow accidentally. But they even gave a moment of peace.
Właśnie czcimy w polskim Sejmie pamięć o Charlie Kirku, konserwatyście chrześcijanie.
Obviously, we don't understand what the hell he's saying, but yes, they did a moment of silence eventually at some point. South Koreans. Here's their kind of version of celebrating Charlie Kirk. Now, again, they're saying we think we are Charlie Kirk, but I'm not trying to be mean, but sometimes what L's and R's and sometimes we all Charlie Kirk? Maybe? I don't know, but it could be. We are. Could be. It doesn't quite sound like that. Beautiful, nonetheless. This is South Korea. This is not our country.
We are Charlie Kirk! We are Charlie Kirk! We are Charlie Kirk! We are Charlie Kirk! We are Charlie Kirk!
I bet you'll never guess what they say next. But yes, so we all Charlie Kirk. We are Charlie Kirk. It's something. It's something indeed. Senior Trump official declares war on far-left NGOs sowing chaos nationwide. I got a couple little videos here that are short and sweet. Check these out in regards to this anyways.
Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
This is what kicking the shit out of fascism looks like.
Try to prevent the spread of the lawlessness and the fascist chaos that's been unleashed against us.
So when we say Donald Trump is a fascist, fascism, a huge component of fascism is uniting racism, bigotry, a form of racist nationalism.
We are now living in a fascist dictatorship.
We are worried about potential rise of fascism in this country. We're worried about our democracy falling to an authoritarian and potentially fascist form of government.
Not only to roll over to Donald Trump's will, but to roll over our democracy and allow him to take over this country as a fascist dictator.
When fascism isn't just coming, it's already here.
The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, said, "No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core."
So I can't imagine why anybody on the left would possibly want to kill people on the right. That's just such a mystery to me. Now, here's the thing. If we did the same thing, we'd be rounded up, by the way, or called out, which we should be. It's not an appropriate thing to do, but it's just funny. I literally had 3 ideas today that would have been horrific, that we could have returned the favor, and I could have done it in a legal possible way. And again, I was just like, Dan, but then, come on, you're just like them. There's a lot of people that want this to be a war, right? It is, but not how they want it to be. They want us to run into the streets, which, by the way, my idea was not about. It was pretty ingenious, actually. Frankly. Just saying, Deep State, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. Democrats have become the party of hate and violence, and their left-wing NGO network and leftist echo chambers on popular websites and social media channels are driving some of the political violence. Again, a whole lot of people talking crazy stuff, right? We don't need to overemphasize. Stephen Miller, I love this dude. Well, he's got always something to say, but this, just what's happened with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was a friend of the President Trump's group, his inner circle. I mean, literally, Charlie Kirk was, he probably had moments where Trump had called him on his telephone, which that would be the weirdest shit. Like, there's Trump's calling, oh my God, right? Like, it's like the bat sign. No, I don't know. It's like someone gave you, I don't even know how, anyway, just having Trump call you would be a trip, right? And that would, out of control. Stephen Miller, expressing how this situation's being manipulated, how we are kind of taking charge and taking ownership of it. Of course, he does it in somewhat of an emotional way. I think he's trying to push people to get involved, though it could be read like we're doing the same thing back, like I was talking about earlier. Again, I read between the lines. I'm not saying we should do stuff, and that's not what I'm saying by any means. I'm saying be careful. Don't ever respond emotionally. If you do, you will likely lose. It's just how the game's played. Don't do it. Stay back. It's chill. They're just doing a lot of motions and noise and, right? Like, right? Like, come on. All right, cool. But at some point, you're just going to be like Indiana Jones was with the dude with the swords, or there's another person where they just shoot the guy. I don't know, whatever the case is. But it's like, come on. It's not a big deal. Anyway, back to the Steve Miller stuff.
There is a domestic terrorism movement in this country. When you see these organized doxing campaigns where the left calls people enemies of the republic, calls them fascists, says they're Nazis, says they're evil, says they have to be removed, and then prints their addresses, what do you think they're trying to do? They are trying to inspire someone to murder them. That is their objective. That is their intent. And when you see online, Sean, as we've seen for the last few days, tape after tape after tape of federal workers, bureaucrats, staffers in the Pentagon, educators, professors, healthcare workers, nurses, celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk. These are radicalized people. There is a domestic terrorism movement in this country. And let me tell you something I've not shared with anybody, but the last message that Charlie Kirk gave to me before he joined his creator in heaven was he said that we have to dismantle and take on the radical left organizations in this country that are fomenting violence. That was the last message that he sent me before that assassin stole him from all of us. And we are going to do that under President Trump's leadership. I don't care how. It could be a RICO charge, a conspiracy charge, conspiracy against the United States, insurrection, but we are going to do what it takes to dismantle the organizations and the entities that are fomenting riots, that are doxing, that are trying to inspire terrorism, and that are committing acts of wanton violence. It has to stop. And my message is to all of the domestic terrorists in this country spreading this evil hate, you want us to live in fear? We will not live in fear, but you will live in exile. Because the power of law enforcement under President Trump's leadership will be used to find you, will be used to take away your money, take away your power, and if you've broken the law, to take away your freedom, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. Foment, by the way, is just such a powerful word. Foment. President Trump, I think we played this already. Oh, no, we might have, but we'll play it again. But Trump talking about they're launching investigations into Soros. Soros, the war is coming to you, my good friend. Yeah, so I don't know what your accent would sound like. I've heard you talk, I think, before, but meh.
I had one the other night. I went into a restaurant, and this woman stood up. I looked at her immediately. She had money. She wasn't serious. They get paid for it. They're professional from Soros and other people. And we're going to look into Soros because I think it's a RICO case against him and other people. Because this is more than like protests. This is real agitation. This is riots on the street. And we're going to look into that.
What do we do about our country with that?
Yeah, well, her question's obviously not going to be relevant at all. Trump, this was, after Charlie Kirk. I think it's like the 4-minute thing we've played before. So, yeah, a lot, I think there's nothing new here. So we are moving forward. Devin Nunes, was on with Bartiromo Maria yesterday, I think, or today. When is this posted? When was this? September 14th. So today, technically posted. So it was probably yesterday, guys. I don't know, whatever the hell. Here is an exclusive. I haven't actually listened to it yet. I'm kind of excited to. There's sometimes where I just I know it's going to be good. What is he talking about? Kash Patel and the FBI, they have a lot of work to do, basically ferreting out all the nonsense. So again, a lot of people want, I need it now. I get it. We just got to keep the emotion hot, or keep throwing rocks into the pond to continue to make ripples. Like, we got to keep this hot, right? Keep it on the front burner. Don't let people forget. Don't let this, here's the thing. It's going to expand. I don't think there's any way around it. So in all honesty, the better way I should phrase this is, help the expansion. Help direct the ripples out into other areas. Help. Needless to say, Devin Nunes talking about all this stuff. Check it out.
And while Antifa was allowed to roam free, burning down buildings, going into blue cities, creating chaos, and the FBI did nothing about it. And so I think what you see, Kash Patel, the new director of the FBI, as we know, there's so much to clean up, so much history here. But at the end of the day, if you look at what's happened, that the radical left in this country have been trying to kill conservatives now for going on 8 years. Steve Scalise, my former colleague, a Republican leader, many others, could have been gunned down on that baseball field. Thankfully, he was saved. But still today he carries those injuries with him. President Trump was nearly shot at twice, nearly killed, and finally they got Charlie Kirk. This violence has to end. It's the political left. I think it's total nonsense when you hear now these politicians that are coming out saying, "Oh well, we gotta lower down the rhetoric." The rhetoric was done by my former colleagues in Congress. Yeah. It was also done and supported by a very sophisticated organization. Many people say Soros, but it's not just Soros who helps to organize this. Soros works in conjunction with the Democratic National Committee and other foundations to support these radical groups across the country that has led to this unprecedented historical violence. Well, right? And what you really have, I think this is just my summation of it, and then you have the 1960s radicals that saw this quasi work in the 1960s. They are now running this country, running the radical left, and it's now resulted in people getting assassinated. It's turned into nothing but a death cult. And Kash and the FBI, they have a lot of work cut out for them to try to get to the bottom of, as Kash always said, you got to follow the money.
And I mean, that's what's got to happen. Again, a lot of people expect things to happen quickly, but a real investigation takes weeks, months, and it should. Otherwise, it will not stick, right? Trump, they're saying, I talked about this guy, Charlie Kirk. He's struggling. Trump's a little bummed about it. He's taking it hard. Kirk was very close to the administration. A lot of people in the administration knew him personally and worked with him. So it was, it's been hard for a lot of people. Now, some are wondering, is this a turning point for the radical left? And this is just a moment in time, I think a turning point for a lot of people. I think there's the Democrats, that are out there right now. There's many of them that are actually like, I don't want to be a part of this group. And so they will back away. There's no formal, it doesn't need to be. But what's going to happen for a lot of people is they'll step away from it and they'll just stop saying all the Democrat shit. They don't want to look like a Democrat. They don't want to act like a Democrat. So they're going to start to like kind of step away from that ideology, that concept of I've got to tell everybody what to do. And it is a process, by the way. It's not easy. They'll break into old habits every once in a while and tell you what to do, right? I had a guy do that to me recently at the gym. Like we've talked, he's been trying to find a new job, and so we talk about that typically. And I was doing the back extension, the thing where you pull it towards you, right? And I was doing that, and I was like, and he's like, you should stop after you should hold it at each one, and then you should, do it. And I was like, he just walked up and said that to me. Like normally he'd be like, hey, how's it going? What's up? Everything good? Right? Like so that was weird that he was giving me workout advice, which is fine. I did it for the next 3 sets. And it's not that I didn't know that, but it's better to do the workout. It's better to do it slow, actually, and then hold it. I mean, really, in reality, that's the best way to do it. But it's just somebody that doesn't know how not to do their normal thing. Or he wanted a reason to talk to me. Either way, right? But they work weird. So the left, of course, there's a lot of people that are dancing on his grave. That's meant to piss people off on our side of the fence, make them do something stupid. We generally don't. And it's funny is I think there's a small amount of guilt on the right that's like I feel bad that I'm not. For some reason I don't feel like it's the right thing to do. And it's like it's not the right thing to do. No, you pat yourself on the back, hurt your elbow, lest you might go out and do something stupid with that elbow. No. We are demonstrating proper behavior. When I did the examples, right? How do you do nice things? How do you be nice and kind? It's certainly not by coming back at them with a baseball bat. It's like, look, why do you want to hit me with the bat so bad? What's up? Let's talk. I don't even know who you are. Like, how did we get to here? And, start finding common ground. I don't know if you've ever been in a discussion like that, but sometimes you're like, yeah, no, I think public restrooms are horrible too. You're like, I don't know. You're off in a place you didn't know you'd go, but yeah, I agree with you on that 100%. Yeah, they're disgusting. Ugh, I know. I went into one the other day. I was like, oh. Now you're besties. So diplomatic immunity to the far left is over. And this is kind of what's happening. It is the mainstream media being called out for their lack of stuff. I mean, it just still cracks me up when I see people that are like, I can't believe the mainstream media is not reporting. It's like, well, duh. That's their job, is to not report. Hello? That'd be like getting mad at me for talking about pro-Trump stuff. Duh. That's what he does. You haven't watched the show before? Come on. Same thing. Why? Now they want to make laws like, well, they can't go on the air and say stuff. It's illegal. No, just make them pay for their FCC license. They can say whatever bullshit they want. They can't claim anything anymore. And certainly they should be publicly shamed so people understand they're just making shit up. Because again, like, I try to be honest too, but I don't always get 100% things right. Now I do, I'll do clarifications after. And people that do follow-up posts, updated posts are, I don't think as good, frankly. I think if you use your next show to spend a second and talk about it, that I think is more useful because you're bringing it forward kind of, and it's there. You're not hiding it. But at the same time, you can't let people bog you down with slight imperfections, right? Like, all right, yeah, you're right. I wasn't 100% perfect on what I said, but I'm not going to waste any time talking about that. Thanks, right? Like, so you gotta kind of move forward, us as a country, especially together. Like where we're expanding and understanding and growing. Anyway, it's a trip how it's playing out. I mean, each one of us is going to come at this in different ways. This is affecting us all in different ways. I've certainly teared up on a number of occasions. Like it's shocking to me to a degree, especially seeing his wife. A lot of people posting the people that are unwell. Again, I get it. There is a lot of unwell people that are mad at us, right? Lefties canceling you for liking the wrong tweet. right? But then lefties getting canceled for cheering on murders. There is actually some people getting canceled for this. And they're like, wait, what? I thought we were allowed to do this. It's like, no, nobody's allowed to do that. But we are, right? This division's going away. It's disappearing. Rolling Stones put this out, a while back. Why cancel culture is good for democracy. This was back when we were being canceled. Again, okay when it's us, not okay when it's them. So this is uniting a huge number of people, and that is beyond words. It's inspirational. It's what Charlie wanted to be. It's what Charlie became. Charlie became exactly what he needed and wanted to be. It maybe not play out the way it never does too, by the way, frankly, but it played out how it played out. And I feel for his family and his wife. I know they have a lot of support and friends and structure around them. Otherwise, this wouldn't have played out like this. But this is a transitioning time. Charlie Kirk's assassin, suspect, I guess he lived with the transgender partner. Some dude that is wanting to become a dudette. Got, I guess, those soft feminine qualities that this murderer finds, alleged murderer, finds appealing because he was living with this individual while they were going through the transition. Why is this relevant? Well, it is odd that it does show a closeness to this progressive-y thinking, not actually somebody that seems to be on chemical supplements at this point, but right now we do understand he was extraordinarily left-leaning. None of his family was. His family was all very conservative. So this dude was unique. He had a boyfriend, basically, that was going to eventually become a girl. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but there was all sorts of, I guess, posts in the last 5 years alone. Several mass shootings have been committed by transgenders or pronoun people. There's just been a lot. Again, there's plenty of crazy out there, right? There's plenty of people on our side of the fence that walk into, military bases or are in military bases. So it's about crazy people. It's about the fact that things like I still think the magnetic field's part of this, by the way. I can't help it. But people, there is a weird misfiring that's starting to happen with people. Some people are just not making it through this, and they're, right? They're not making it through it. That's why you don't want to go out onto the streets and be a part of that. Worry about what's outside your front door. Seriously. It might not be nearly as bad as what some of the other people are experiencing. Know that. That's okay. Don't be guilty. You did well. You manifested beautifully. Tyler Robinson, arrested in connection with the assassination of Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University, will be arraigned in Utah court next Tuesday. He is set to face charges of aggravated murder, obstruction of justice, and felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury. Causing death? I don't know. Anyway, all right. I feel like, aggravated murder's in there. All right, whatever. However, they're going to try to get the most. They're going to try to throw the life sentence at, or the death penalty at him. And again, I've made my point before. Not going there again. At least at the moment. Rep. Anna Paulina Luna posted this. The Turning Point. We have 18,000 new chapter requests since Erica spoke. That's his wife. We had 9,000 college chapters and 1,100 high school chapters prior to this. So on top of the 18,000, it sounds, they've got 27 plus 2810, 28,100. So damn. This is exploding with the youth population. This is grabbing a lot of attention. California passes a law banning ICE officers from wearing masks. We knew they passed this, but I don't know if the governor's signed it yet, assuming it's signed. I don't think it's been signed yet. This is not legal. So I'm not really worried. California does stupid stuff. Here's an example. California lawmakers pass a bill to give college admission priority to descendants of slavery. You can't prioritize anybody based off of race, color, creed. Like, even if it favors one of the preferential races of the day, you're not legally allowed to do that. Again, another illegal law. Good job, California. You're always leading the way in illegality. Good job. Love that. Largest group of law-breaking gang members is aged 13 to 16. This has been a new thing with the drug people, or the gang people, I should say, bringing younger kids in because they don't get in trouble for as bad. They can kill people and not go to jail for the rest of their lives. So if they use them hard for a few years, they can get promoted to management positions, which, you know, these kids are making gobs of money, and they're breaking crimes and getting out of jail almost immediately, and all these no bail places and cashless bail and all this nonsense, right? So this is a growing trend that we are going to have to deal with. Hey, look, here's the thing. You know it's okay, it's not okay to kill. I don't know, at pretty young age, I think. So again, if you're in crime, you're obviously aware of right, wrong, and indifferent. It's not like you accidentally fell into crime. You're like, oh, pistol? Yeah, you know, it's not how it works. State Department is barring entry to foreigners, glorifying violence. So anybody that's, you know, talking Charlie Kirk, talking violence, talking anything, you know, like free Palestine nonsense, even for that matter, they're being shut out. People are getting shut out big time right now, and that's good. I mean, frankly. Injured ICE officer. He was apparently trying to do an arrest. The guy took off. Somehow he was dragging this dude. Fortunately, he's okay. But he started dying into the car, shot the suspect. The suspect is, well, he's no longer with us. They both went to the hospital at the same time, separate vehicles, I obviously would assume. And, yeah, ICE officer still alive, other guy not. So there you go. That's what happens when you F around and find out. It's not a good idea. It's just not a good idea, period. End of story. So I guess... yeah, this is the Tabasco thing that there's a huge arrest. This Hernan, I don't want to say all this shit, but this he's a violent guy. He's part of the La Barredora cartel, operates in southeastern Mexican state of Tabasco, which of all places, I didn't know there's Tabasco. It was actually a state. That's cool as hell. Anyway, he was arrested in Paraguay. They got him. I don't know, big deal. Some sort of joint operation. This is a big criminal dude that they took down from the cartels in Mexico. This was a huge score. Like, any of the cartel leaders in Mexico that leave the country, good luck. Seriously. I mean, even good luck to your plane. Like, good luck to however you... We blew up a boat. We'll probably blow up a plane if we have to. Or cause some sort of malfunction, and no one will ever know what happened exactly. U.S. isn't seeking confrontation with China, says the Pentagon. Now, we are hardcore confronting China right now. We're just not confronting them in the way China is used to. See, China's been building this entire arsenal, this attack against us, that's been based off of essentially our technology. We're going to use your technology, slightly improved, against you. But what we've done is actually hit them from a different angle. And they weren't ready for that. China's economy is not really set up properly to not be a supplier economy. They're all about supplying outside of themselves. If that stops for any reason, they're screwed. They don't have an internal supply, or an internal demand, I should say, that is allowed to be used. So all this extra supply starts to back up. And it causes huge problems with manufacturing. So we're not seeking confrontation with China. But what we are doing is we're taking away all of their abilities to get free technology, to get free help, to get free money. We're taking it all away. And they aren't prepared for that. This is some financial nuclear missile that kills nobody, yet destroys the economy of those that they're attacking. It's why China's doing deals with Russia and India, because they have no other way to survive. NASA bans Chinese nationals from working on agency programs. Done. They cannot work on anything. Space. No more. Lawmakers flag 100-plus cases of U.S. universities funding CCP research, literally through the defense industry in the CCP. This is being called out. This is being stopped. U.S. and China delegation, they're going to be meeting in Madrid, and we'll see how that goes. We'll see what's talked about, what's not talked about, at least publicly, I should say. Stuff behind closed doors, obviously. Trump is dusting these dudes. The tariffs are, trust me, China's hurting for certain, as they would say in the business. So China's going to help local government in their difficult times right now. They're now doing some sort of weird loan of about $1 trillion, I'm assuming yuan. They're saying in dollars. I don't know. It's got a dollar sign, but doesn't mean anything. It's probably yuan. But $1 trillion, let's just call it, make it easy. And they're doing this through loans to cities, the cities that are having problems. There's a huge problem. This is roughly, they're saying, they're consolidating debt to GDP to around 400%. So China is not as strong as everyone wants you to believe. There's a lot of China information, especially through TikTok and stuff like that, that's coming through that's trying to make it sound like China's got the advantage over the United States. It's not the case. Not yet. They would have in a short period of time, especially if Hillary would have gotten in. But no. No, they haven't, in fact. And we've shut them out of the tech industry. Curious to see where the markets are at the moment. Gold down a tiny bit, 36.80. What are we at for silver? Silver's down a tiny bit. We're 42.68. 42.68. That's huge. Silver's gone up like $3-4 over the past like couple weeks, 3 weeks or whatever. That's just insanity. It's awesome, dude. If you're in a 401k, guys, if you're in a 401k or an IRA, I highly recommend getting the heck out. I highly recommend it. I got a good company that can help you do it. They're going to offer up to 10% free silver for you. You can do this tax-free and penalty-free. It's actual physical metals, literally. They're not given to you, at least at the time of creation. They're literally put into a trust, though. It's physical. It's actually yours. You can actually have them given back. You certainly should ask questions about this stuff. They've got the best customer service I've ever experienced. They're amazing. Let my good friends at Goldco help you out. If you got a 401k or an IRA, get out of that system. You're tied to a hemorrhaging dollar, and you're tied to the stock market. That's not long for this world. The world market's going to have a tough bit of time. Don't lose all your wealth. Take as much of it as you can right now and protect it. That's what precious metals do. And silver's weirdly multiplied or coming in. Like, it's totally already happening. It's playing fast, and there's the expectations of it going significantly higher than where it's even currently at. Gold as well. It's just a way to protect your buying power. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of that system while you can. Otherwise, yeah, it's going to be a bummer day. Bummer day, not paradise. All right, bunch of stuff, what I'm calling foreign crap. Oh, yeah, there's science crap in here, too. Whoops, sorry, vaccine crap and stuff like that. Mixed it all together. Researchers found unvaccinated children are healthier than vaccinated. It was one study, not to get too far away, but Henry Ford Health System. Their employees carried this study out. It was amongst 18,468 studied children. Yeah, that many children. This many children born between 2000 and 2016. They were enrolled in this health system's insurance plan, so they were able to draw data. After 10 years, 57% of the vaccinated children had a chronic health condition such as asthma, compared to just 17%, there's a number, 17% of the unvaccinated children. It's just the way the numbers played out. Why is that? And why is it 17 yet again? Russia gains another village in central Ukraine. This is, not working out good for this whole Ukraine thing. I feel like I just mixed stories and I didn't mean to. Yeah, I kind of did. This is supposed to go over here. Let's pretend we talk about that over here. Vax stocks. So the vaccine stocks. There's, some news is possibly going to be coming out this week. Maybe why Charlie Kirk was assassinated as a threat. Maybe one of the reasons why it's bumming Trump out so much is because someone probably told him, look, you either stop this nonsense with the vaccines or we'll take out Charlie Kirk. These things do happen like that sometimes. Now, again, I don't know. I'm alleging, making up, who knows. But, yeah, vaccine stocks are taking a hard hit. Expectation is Trump is going to mention that the vaccines seem to be tied to deaths, a number of deaths that have been linked to the COVID vaccine specifically. Pharma-funded medical groups threaten anti-Maha physician strike. So there's a bunch of these, basically big pharma-paid medical groups that have doctors underneath them that are all going to do some sort of strike and not going to actually help their patients in need because they want to make some sort of political concept or noise. It's great. They're like, we got to listen to the science. And it's like, well, why can't we do other science other than what the pharmaceutical companies' scientists say? Why can't we ask another scientist that's not getting paid by one of them and see what they think when they look at the data? That's all we want to do. Why is that wrong? Why is that not okay? I'm just asking for a friend. So yeah, Belarus, they freed 52 political prisoners, and they gained some U.S. sanction relief and a nice warm letter from President Trump. So Belarus and us are making nice. Trump is doing everything to make this war end. Everything. Russia gains another village in central Ukraine, so they're not stopping. Zelensky's losing power. He's got a huge problem. The media is not liking him anymore. His country doesn't like him anymore. In a hypothetical presidential election against General Valery Zaluzhny, Zelensky loses by 13 points. It's like the general guy that used to be his general, and he made him an ambassador. This guy would destroy him. This guy's losing popularity, Zelensky, big time. He's lost it with Trump. He's lost it with us. Nobody wants to continue to keep pumping money into this, especially now that the United States is done with it. And Trump actually kind of came back in a very cool way, and I love it. I feel like this was like the perfect way to hit at Europe, to really just punch them right in the testicles. Seriously. Even for the ones that have ovaries. They felt the testicular. They somehow, some sort of etheric body got hit. And they were like, I actually felt that. Yeah, you did. Right in the gut, man. It's weird how it feels. A letter sent by President Donald, this is the truth of Donald Trump, by the way. A letter sent by President Donald Trump to all NATO nations and the world. Quote, I am ready to do major sanctions on Russia when all NATO nations have agreed and started to do the same thing. And when all NATO nations stop buying oil from Russia, as you know, NATO's commitment to win has been far less than 100%, and the purchase of Russian oil by some has been shocking. It greatly weakens your negotiating position and bargaining power over Russia. Anyway, I am ready to go when you are. Just say when. I believe that this plus NATO as a group placing 50% to 100% tariffs on China to be fully withdrawn after the war with Russia and Ukraine is ended. This will also be of great help in ending this deadly but ridiculous war. China has a strong control and even grip over Russia, and these powerful tariffs will break that grip. This is not Trump's war. It would never have started if I was president. It is Biden's and Zelensky's war. I am only here to help stop it and save thousands of Russian and Ukrainian lives. 7,118 lives lost this last week alone. Crazy. If NATO does as I say, the war will end quickly, and all of those lives will be saved. If not, you are just wasting my time and the time, energy, and money of the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, all capital letters at the end there. The war is ending, and the deep state's screwed. This is trillions of dollars. Well, billions and billions and billions of dollars just constantly flowing. This is ending. And they talk about war economies and how great economies do. Now, when all that money's being sucked off and wasted, no, it's actually not good. Yeah, it gets the economy moving for a fake reason, but the economy tends to rack up debt in a lot of cases. I mean, I know back in the past, World War II, for sure, that roaring economy made us huge for a while until they put taxes in place. And right? Well, taxes were already in place technically. Trump backs off promise to sanction Russia, issues ultimatum to NATO, so we talked about that. No Palestinian state. This place is ours. Netanyahu is basically saying, no, hell no, it's not happening. No two-state situation. Don't give a shit what anybody says. Qatar's pressuring Arab allies to close embassies in Israel. They say the gloves are off, and they are serious about essentially taking power away from Israel. Israel attacking Doha like they did has caused a huge problem, and this might be what, I don't know. Well, I mean, we can't just continue to let them just attack willy-nilly, as wantonly as they seem to be doing. Or we need one, like, we'll get you next time. Like, you attacked into a country and didn't actually get them. Like, that's a fail. That's just a fail. So now you're screwed. Nuclear startup. That's kind of a neat idea. They're talking about burying these mini reactors a mile underground just in case they do go critical. Then they won't cause a problem, essentially, because they're so far down below ground, it's not going to matter. They're done with pressurized water to keep them cool when they're working. They're talking about, these would be reasonably cheap. I don't know about digging a hole a mile deep. That can't be cheap per se, but I assume we're reasonably good at doing that. But they are talking about megawatts, hundreds of megawatts, I think. 30-inch borehole generating, 15 megawatts, so one, which is pretty good. Not a huge amount. They're saying they can deliver power for 5 to 7 cents per kilowatt hour, which is pretty darn good. If this technology is actually, and this might be some of them disclosure stuff, we can't see it. They put it a mile below the ground, but we're getting some of the benefits maybe. Who knows? Washington felon caught impersonating a police officer at a crime scene. He'd apparently been doing this a bunch. Dude got caught. This guy right here. All dressed up, all decked out, literal badge, whole 9 yards. He couldn't produce some little card, I guess you get when you're a real cop. And they arrested him. And they're like, I can't believe you're doing this in front of all the guys. Like, dude, you're a fake. He had a fake fire helmet in his car too. So I don't know, this guy's running around being, I don't know if he's just doing cop and fireman, or maybe sometimes he does some of the other members of YMCA, or maybe, who knows? Could be doing some of those other guys. You never know. Manhattan-sized interstellar object 3I Atlas now turning green, apparently. In case anyone's wondering, someone just recently pointed it out to me. I thought it was interesting. 3I stands for the third interstellar object that we're aware of. The only 3 of these that we're aware of. And it's only because recently we've figured out how to find them, by the way. So it's not like they've never been here before, and now all of a sudden they are. That's not true. And I think Atlas is named after the scope that found it, or who found it, or whatever. All said, 3I Atlas turning green. Again, yeah, it is what it is. It's turning green. So there's the people that, there's two sides of this, I guess, basically. Those that think this is something, intelligently controlled. So I guess it's turned on its green energy, engine. Or for those that, follow comets and think they're kind of cool, Hale-Bop's the one I think of. It had multiple ingredients. And some ingredients, as you get closer, or chemicals, I should say, or whatever, as you get closer to the sun, they actually will start to burn off at that point. So you'll see those colors or tails start at different points in time. So, again, there's just a fun way for anybody that's out there. And a spectacular drone show over the Vatican. This is kind of cool. I don't know. Kind of cool. They did some neat photos. I wish I could make this bigger. I don't know if they kind of can. All right, cool. But here's, they did some just really, really cool stuff with drones. I don't know why. I had some special thing they were doing. But yeah, more than 3,000 drones were used in this particular event. Made some pretty cool images. That Pope one was pretty cool. I wanted to get the video of this, but I think it was a rather long show. But they did some pretty cool stuff with the drones. You talk about, I wonder if there's any of that stuff in the sky, but this does look like it's all drones. And then the joy. There's something weird about joy. Joy's a weird programming word to me. So, yeah, something weird about that. Joy is a weird programming word. It doesn't really mean anything. It's a strange thing. I've known people named Joy. That's a lot to live up to. All said, crazy stuff going on in the world, folks. This week's going to be interesting. I'm sure there will be some form of retaliation for Charlie Kirk. We'll probably have to read between the lines, but I'll be here helping you guys do that exact same thing. Yeah, where we go one, we friggin' go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.